Hey, BT family. Hope you're doing well today. I'm so excited for our Renovation Generosity Initiative and the opportunity and the challenge that it's going to present. Ultimately, what renovation is about, it's about us as individuals and a church family joining God as He continues to make all things new in our lives and in the lives of those around us. It's about seeing South Texas transformed and the world. Generosity or giving is one of the many ways that we worship God, and through this initiative, we want to increase our generosity and our surrender to the Lord. I believe God's going to do great things with this initiative. I believe that this initiative that will come to a close at our 40th anniversary as a church is going to position us for another 40 years of powerful ministry. And what I want to do in this video is I want to walk you through our commitment card that you've probably received a physical copy of, and if not, you can find online as well. And I just want to walk through this and give you some information as you continue to pray through how you and your family will join us in the renovation journey. And so here, the commitment card, you're going to find this page and see some of these boxes and information down here. And I really wanted to say this on the front side. As you look at all these boxes, this box right here that says my/our total 2-year commitment is really what this card is all about. I don't want you to feel some type of pressure to fill out every single box. This is really the box that you need to focus on. And it's the number that you anticipate to give over the 2 years of renovation. And really what I want you to do, because maybe you've already decided what that's going to be, but what I want you to do before you fill it out is to really take a moment and as an individual, as a family, pray and ask yourself, does this reflect my first and best towards Jesus as an act of worship? Now, as you fill that out, I do want to walk through what these boxes are in case maybe you're type A and you want to make sure that every box is filled out. This first box is what you may already be giving to BT Church. Now, let me say this. I believe that there will be many people who through renovation will begin to worship through giving for the very first time. And so this box for some may be a 0, meaning that you have not yet partnered with BT through generosity. And what I want you to hear me say is that is not something to make you feel ashamed, but something to celebrate that you are now worshiping through this act of surrender. And so maybe, again, there's an amount that you and your family have already been giving, or maybe that has not been a reality for you yet. Either way, you would put what you would give in a 12-month period. This second box would be your expanded giving, or what we would call above and beyond. I believe for many of us, the Lord's going to challenge us to give above and beyond what we are already giving. And so this second box would represent that additional or expanded giving that you anticipate over the course of the Renovation Generosity Initiative. And then ultimately, this next box is the sum of those two. So you take what you're giving and your expanded giving, and that represents 1 year's worth of giving. So then you come over here, it says times 2 years. And so this next box would be your 2-year total commitment of how you plan to give. And let me say this, how you plan to give from what God will give you, right? This last box is unique, and it's important also. This last box on the top half of the page, it says my or our gifts from stored resources. You see, we're going to determine what we will give based on what God will give us through our income, through our jobs, through our projects that we may have. That is what God will give us and what we will give in response. But we may also be called to give from that which God has already trusted us with. That would be our stored resources. And the truth is, almost everyone has stored resources. My 4 kids, ages 10, 12, 14, and 16, they actually have stored resources, right? And so this doesn't have to be something that only those that we think are extremely wealthy consider. Stored resources could be savings. It could be property, could be vehicles that you would maybe look to sell. It could be retirement accounts. It could be things around the house that you want to organize to have a garage sale. I believe that as we really pray about what the Lord wants us to give, that's both first and best, that as we think of what we're already giving and what we'll give on top of that, I believe stored resources will come into play for many of us. And so all of those boxes, again, lead you to this box that I mentioned earlier that represents your 2-year total to renovation. I also want to point out what is on the back of our commitment card, and we call this a gift chart. And let me just kind of explain what this is. You may look at this gift chart and say, I don't see my gift on here anywhere. Or you may look at it and even look at the bottom and say, I don't know that I can give that much. Does that mean that I can't be a part? This is not a law of giving. This is an idea of what kind of gifts help us reach our goal. And speaking of our goal, let me just reiterate what you've no doubt already heard. The reality is that our number one goal for renovation is that everyone who calls BT Church their home, that they would join us in this endeavor, that we would be all in together to see God do a work in us and through us. We believe that if everyone who calls BT home joins in, then our secondary goal really is a realistic opportunity for us to meet. And that secondary goal is $13 million over 2 years. This gift chart represents how we could accomplish that secondary goal. But again, let me say this is not a chart you need to find yourself on, but simply an example of how we believe we can get there. And before I wrap up, let me also just encourage you with a few things. I know sometimes we can get uncomfortable or a little tense when it comes to the subject of generosity or even commitment cards or pledge cards. Maybe you've heard that phrase in the past. We're really using the word commitment because this is a covenant. It's a covenant between us and the Lord. My wife and I will fill our card out, and it's a covenant that we have with the Lord, joining with our church to see God do above and beyond all we can ask or think. And the reason why I say that is don't view this as some type of legalistic document. View this as a card through which you'll express a covenant commitment to God and His church to see the work of the gospel go forward. I really believe that this 2-year season of renovation is going to be a powerful time in our church. We're in year 38 of gospel ministry here at BT. We will get to year 40 at the end of our renovation initiative. And I believe that those of us that are here now and those that will come along the journey later will look back at renovation and see how God used this as a powerful time in our history to celebrate what He has done, what He is doing, but also to propel us forward with what He has planned to do. Simply put, beloved, I believe the best is yet to come. And I believe renovation is an opportunity for us to join God in the work that He is doing and that He plans to do. It's my sincere hope and prayer for all of us that renovation wouldn't simply be about giving, but that it would be a season where God does a powerful work in our hearts, where we come to deeper levels of intimacy and knowledge of Jesus and what it means to live in surrender to Him. It's my prayer that while there is a giving component, that really spiritually across the board, our church would grow in so many ways. And that's going to start with my heart and with your heart. And so again, let me say, I'm so thankful for you, my church family. I'm so excited for this opportunity and the challenge that it presents. I am thankful that you are wanting to join us in this journey. Let me just say this, church family, for Christy and I, these 8 going on 9 years that I've had the honor to serve here at BT, it has been such a joy to call BT our church family, and it's been such an honor to be your pastor. I believe this season, again, is going to be powerful, and I believe this season is just a reflection of what we say each week in our services, that we believe God is going to do above and beyond all that we could ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Why? For His glory to be proclaimed in the church and to all generations forever and ever. Amen. BT Church, I hope you know how much I love you. I'm so excited for what God is going to do through this Renovation Generosity Initiative, and I believe, again, the best is yet to come.